So I know that we wanted to allow for some time for questions and answers, and we don't have a lot of time now. So what I would like to suggest is that if you are sitting with some burning questions, please put your questions in the chat. We are also going to allow a few people to unmute and ask their questions. And you can ask either Colleen, Pauline, or even, you know, some of the schools that are present in the room. We'll definitely save the chat, and we'll definitely make sure that we come back to you. Maybe you can, if you put your email address in your question as you put it in the chat, we can respond to you or make contact with you via email, so that we can make sure that all the questions are going to be attended to. I must really apologize for my poor time management there. Let me just, open the floor for questions. As I said, you can either put your question in the chat or just unmute and ask your question. Or comment. It might be just a comment. It might be just a criticism, positive or negative, constructive, whatever the case might be. So I see Gladys, and Langa Mandla has put her hand up. Gladys, you can unmute and ask your question.
All right. I'm actually impressed that you pronounced my surname so beautiful.
Oh dear.
All right. I'm sorry, I joined the conversation a little bit late, but from the feedback I'm hearing, it sounds like there's a beautiful program that is going on. Is it also applicable to high school learners as well?
Yeah, Colleen, you want to take that one?
And I was just to say, it's just it's for the foundational skills. So it's grade R and grade 1. And while we're saying that, we also have it at the moment in English, Afrikaans, and isiXhosa. I mean, that's what we said at the beginning, which you may have missed. Okay, so it's in those 3 languages for those 2 grades at the moment. Okay.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thanks.
Any other question? I see that Nonhlanhla has already put the link to the feedback form in the chat, which is a good idea because some people might need to leave early. So you can also use the feedback form to ask any questions that you're still sitting with. We might also use, see that in the form.
Magali, there was a question
Yes,
there about how schools can get the program.
There we go. Dora Motsekwa. I'm not sure how to pronounce that one. So yes, Pauline, do you want to respond to that one?
So I know there was so much information in that video that we don't expect people to remember it all, to retain it all. That's why Colleen, I think Colleen put the time, the website. And to answer your question, in a nutshell, you can join you can find out how to join the program by going onto the website and finding out about how to join time. Having said that, Colleen also mentioned in the video that the term 1 materials, term 2 and term 3 materials are all on the website. And if you go to the little I forget what to call it, little holder on the website, it's got all the activity pack, so you can download them for free. You don't have to send them to a printer. If you're making a few, you can just print them. So you can there's easy access to it. You can print it. Or you can request the PDF files from us if you're going to go to a printer to print it. So it's all open source that way. And you can join, but unfortunately term 3, joining our print run it's already passed. So you can't unfortunately join our print run, but you've got those 2 options. I hope that helps you.
And maybe just to add that when we printed it ourselves for term 1, 2, and 3, it cost us R12.50 per child for the term. So, you know, if you're going to print it, it's not that expensive to print. And obviously now our print runs have ended. But for next year, you can think about it. If you want to start from term 1, we'll have it ready. We hopefully have it ready all in term 4 for the 4 terms. So if you want to start term 1's printing and join our print run, which makes it cheaper for you, then we will invoice you then for R12.50 per child for the term. So for the first term, currently, for the 4 terms, currently it comes to R50 for each child. Okay, our schools, or the schools in our network currently, and in the organizations who are also funding this in their network, those schools are not paying. But obviously going forward, we're going to have to consider how we do this. Yeah, because it's all printed in color and big poster pictures. We cannot sustain doing this, you know, at the rate we are doing it for now. That is why it's open source. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I see there's been, sorry, Pauline, you wanted to add something?
No, it was the other question I was going to raise, Magali, but I think you were going to mention it too, about training for parents. I think that was the question.
Christine Maniaka's question, yes.
Yeah.
Do you want to take that one?
Yeah, so the materials were obviously designed, and the teachers mentioned it to be quite, I mean, I know we know that there are challenges if a parent doesn't, you know, understand or can't read the language the materials are coming in, and so we're aware of that. That does affect the percentage of families, but the instructions are written quite easily. And if you can remember watching the little video of the little girl and her dad, I mean, he was literally reading the instructions off the page, you know, while he was engaging with the activity. So I'm saying that because we've done that very deliberately, so that parents don't need training. They follow, they get a big picture of what the activity is about on that big poster, and then they get these detailed, like, ask these questions, you know, tell your child to notice that. So it's very guided. Having said that, we are learning from the field. Magali has been instrumental in what's the word, harvesting that information for us from the field, that we have found that in the schools where they are making time to mediate the materials a bit more with their parents and not just sending it home, you know, that the uptake has been a bit greater. So I can also tell you that on the website, the one holder that is, I think it's for Colleen, what's it called? Time Guidance for Teachers. So if you go to that little block, we every time we realize, you know, we're also learning. So we're seeing a need, and then we go back to the drawing board, as it were, and we try and design things that can help you. So we've just, past few months, designed a tip sheet, if you will, on ways that you can, finding ways that work for you, that you can mediate the materials with your parents. So there's a little handout on the website under the Time Guidance for Teachers. So to answer your question in a nutshell, it's written enough for the parents just to follow, or a carer to follow. And yes, training not necessarily, but definitely mediating, getting people excited, understanding that the materials is definitely something that we would encourage schools to do. And we have heard of schools finding wonderful ways of doing that. I don't know if we must go into that now, but I mean, you know, we can always continue this kind of conversation if you're interested.
Okay, I'm just going to, I wanted to share a little reflection question before we end, but I feel like time has been faster than I wanted it to go. So I think I'm just going to go back to my presentation and just say thank you to, oh my goodness, sorry for that. Yeah, that was the reflection question for all of us to take away. What if caregivers were key to addressing the learning gaps exacerbated by COVID, and what can each of us do to contribute towards equipping caregivers across the country to fully play their roles as igniters of the child's learning? If you have thoughts that you want to share, My email address is magali@symphonia.net. You're welcome to, mull over it and drop me an email if you can remember my email address. Otherwise, send it to Selwyn or anyone else from the SLF team, and we'll make sure that it gets shared. And the last thing I wanted to also quickly say is that if you've missed part of today's session, or if you know of some people who would have loved to be there but couldn't make it today, the recording is going to be loaded to the YouTube channel of the School Leadership Forum. So if you check in about 2 weeks' time, I put the link here, I put it in the chat as well, but otherwise you just Google School Leadership Forum YouTube channel and you'll find all the recordings that are loaded there. That will allow you to go back to the recording of today's session and to share it as well. And before we end, I quickly need to introduce and give you some information about the next School Leadership Forum session, which will happen in 2 weeks' time on the 9th of September, on the topic of team leadership. And sorry, I've got a little pop-up that's coming here. I need to move it away. Sorry. So leading a team requires understanding people and unlocking their potential. How do we do it? That's going to be the topic in 2 weeks' time. And our speaker, once again, someone who's very close to the Symphonia community, Dr. Robin Whittaker, collaboration convener at Kaleidoscope Lights. So I encourage you to make time for that session. I'm sure it's going to be another extraordinary session. Another one where there's not enough time in 1.5 hours to really cover the topic, because it's such an important topic as well. So with it, that's all from me, and it's just gone 4:30. I want to really, really thank the SLF team who's been working in the background. Yeah, Nonchansla, Selwyn, and Charmaine, thank you for your support in the background. I want to thank Pauline and Colleen for their passion and their enthusiasm and all the hard work that they've put into this. I want to thank also the people who've joined us from the various schools and who've shared their experience. Sorry that I had to cut you short and we didn't have time to hear enough of what we would have wanted to. And thank you to the audience. Thank you for your very interesting comments and questions and sharing. Please come back for another session in 2 weeks' time. And I hope you enjoyed today's session. I hope you're going to have some positive and constructive feedback for us in the feedback form. Don't forget, it's really important for us to see your feedback there. Thank you for indulging us with just a few extra minutes just to complete and wrap up, and see you next time.
And thank you to you, Magali, for hosting us. Thank you.